With our next class. In today's class, we are going to discuss another very important part of the chapter, that is agrochemicals and its effects. Now, you know very well that human population is rapidly increasing, and so is our demand for food. In such a situation, of course, there is a great pressure on the agricultural fields to increase their product yield or crop yield, isn't it? Now, to increase the crop yield or to have some short-term benefits, we are also using certain harmful chemicals in the soil in the form of insecticides, in the form of weedicides, in the form of pesticides, isn't it? So, because these harmful chemicals or chemical fertilizers that are being introduced to the soil just to increase their per capita yield for a while, we are in the long run increasing the chances for soil infertility or sterility of the soil. In such a scenario, we are continuously polluting the soil. So what kind of effects this pesticides or this chemical fertilizers can be having on us in the long run, that's what we are going to discuss in today's topic. Alright, so let's see here. In the wake of Green Revolution, use of inorganic fertilizers and pesticides has increased manifold for enhancing crop production. Pesticides and weedicides are being increasingly applied to agricultural fields, but they harm non-targeted organisms also and destroy the ecosystem of the soil. Some pesticides like DDT are persistent, so they cannot be usually solubilizing or they do not dissolve, leading to biomagnification, which we have discussed in the previous class, isn't it? Now, the most widely used are the insecticides, which are broad spectrum. That means they are going to target a lot of organisms. Not only, they being the insecticides, they are supposed to be killing only insects, right? But they are broad spectrum, means they will be harming other organisms as well. They will be targeting a lot many organisms, including human beings, animals, as well as some plants. Alright, so see here. They are broad spectrum and affect animals, man and even plants. Hence, they are biocides. And they include, or this includes, chlorinated hydrocarbons. They include DDT, PCB, aldrin, DHC, etc. They are toxic, persistent and mobile in the ecosystem. So they keep on moving from one part of the ecosystem to another, causing long-term harm to various species. Organophosphorus compounds. They include malathion, parathion and organocarbamates, which are degradable but influence the CNS, central nervous system. Alright. Next, weedicides. They are usually metabolic inhibitors which stop photosynthesis and other metabolic activities, hence thereby killing the plants. So basically the problem with this chemical is that they are toxic, they remain in the environment for a very, very long time and they are broad spectrum. So instead of only killing the targeted organism, they also sometimes target harmless organism. So thereby creating an imbalance in the ecosystem in the long run. Alright. Now, excess inorganic fertilizers are contaminating the soil as well as ground and surface water resources. Inorganic nutrients like nitrates and phosphates washed out to the aquatic ecosystem would induce eutrophication. Also, eutrophication has been discussed with you. If you remember, the nutrients that are getting into the aquatic ecosystem due to surface runoff from the agricultural fields, they are allowing the planktonic growth or algae to increase rapidly or reproduce rapidly in the aquatic ecosystems and thereby causing eutrophication. That means organic matter content is increasing in the aquatic ecosystem, due to which in a rapid rate within say 100 years maybe, entire lake may be lost. It may completely become extinct, isn't it? Now next, a case study on organic farming. Integrated organic farming is a cyclical zero waste procedure where waste products from one process are cycled as nutrients for other processes. This allows maximum utilization of resources and increases in efficiency of production. Now, there is an important example here of Ramesh Chandra Dagar. Ramesh Chandra Dagar, a farmer in Sonepat, Haryana, is doing just this. That means he is performing organic farming, where the entire farm will have various types of resources to utilize, or there are various types of aspects present in the farm, where the waste product of one process will be running or will be acting as the raw material for the other process. He includes beekeeping, dairy management, water harvesting, composting and agriculture in a chain of processes which supports each other. So there is no need to use chemical fertilizer for crops, as cattle excreta are used as manure. Crop waste is also used to create compost, which can be used as natural fertilizer or used to generate natural gas. Again, this natural gas for satisfying the energy needs of the farm. So as you can see, the waste of the cattle is being used as the raw material for other process. Like it is being used to produce natural gas, which can instead give rise to energy for running the entire farm, right? Now, Dagar has created Haryana Kisan Welfare Club with a current membership of 5,000 farmers. So he has not kept this idea of organic farming or integrated farming to himself, to only reap benefits for himself. Rather, he has shared this information with others by forming a club called Haryana Kisan Welfare Club. Under this club, there are 5,000 farmers, and of course, they are all maintaining or they are all practicing organic farming. Alright, so this is all regarding agrochemical and their effects. I hope all of you are clear about it. Next, let us discuss regarding radioactive waste. Now, let us discuss regarding radioactive waste. You all know very well that elements like radium, uranium, etc., which has an unstable nuclei from which electrons and protons, etc., are continuously emitted. They are called radioactive elements. Now, radioactive elements and the waste they produce, that's a very potent source of pollutant and has to be dealt with utmost caution. Alright, so how it has to be dealt with, that's what we'll be discussing under this section. So let's see. See, it is the physical pollution of air, water and soil with radioactive material. Alright, radioactivity is the property of certain elements like radium, uranium, etc. to spontaneously emit protons or alpha particles, electrons, beta particles or gamma rays by disintegration of their atomic nuclei. The elements that gives radiation are called radioactive elements in short. Alright. Now, nuclear energy was earlier thought as a non-polluting way for generating electricity. That's how electricity generation was done before. But then it came out to have two very important drawbacks. Alright. See here, it however has two serious inherent problems. First is accidental leakage, and it has occurred already. It occurred in 3 Mile Island incident of USA in 1979 and the infamous Chernobyl incident. Alright, accidental leakage is a very serious problem associated with radioactivity. Likewise, safe disposal of radioactive waste. Now, radioactive waste, where will you dispose it? If you dispose it in the soil, deep inside the soil, that is going to create problems because that might, mutate or pollute the soil or mutate the microorganism. That might have certain kind of very serious problems that might show up, isn't it? So, where will you dispose it of? Disposing the radioactive waste, which is highly toxic and will remain active even after its usage. That's what creates the problem with it. Alright. So, see here, radioactive waste from nuclear testing labs contaminates the soil. Fine. Now, the effects. Radiations emitted from nuclear waste is extremely damaging to the organism as it causes mutation at a very, very high rate. As you know very well already from our previous discussions or even in class 11 in certain chapters, that mutation is something that is a sudden change in the genetic makeup of an organism, and this sudden change can be induced by the help of certain chemicals that they are known as mutagen. So radioactive elements are also a very important source of mutagen. They cause mutation. Now, at higher doses, the nuclear radiation is lethal, whereas in lower doses also they can cause various forms of cancer. Cancer being a result of certain kind of mutations in the body. If radioactive exposure is taken in lower doses, it will cause cancer, and in higher doses, of course, it will be lethal. Now, therefore, nuclear waste is extremely potent pollutant and has to be dealt with utmost caution. Now, disposal of radioactive waste. There is no proper disposal method of radioactive waste found out yet, but what exactly is to be done is so far is this this way, or this is the method how we do. So storage of nuclear waste after sufficient pre-treatment should be done in suitably shielded containers, which are then buried within the rocks about 500 meter deep below the earth's surface. But that is also going to, that is not a complete confirmed way how we can get rid of the radioactive waste. Even that might be posing some kind of threat in the, in the long run. So that's why this method of disposal is also meeting stiff opposition from the public. So that's all regarding today's class. In the next class, we'll be discussing regarding greenhouse effect.